Hi, friends. It's Eliza here, and welcome back to Peak Flicks Reading and Writing. Today is day 6. All right, let me minimize my video. We can talk about our teaching point today. All right, so our reading teaching point today is I can learn from the photographs. Now, our nonfiction books have so many rich photographs, friends, that we can not only do we learn from the words, but we learn so much from just looking at the photographs. A picture usually has about 1,000 words, right? And they say that it's almost a saying, right? Because just by looking at pictures and photographs, we learn so much. And so that's what we're going to dive in today. All right, let me move my camera here. All right, so let's get to it. Today, we will learn from photographs, friends. So, learning through pictures is really interesting, right? And we're going to use those labels and the captions and zoom in on those parts of the photograph so we can learn more information. Now, remember what I said, usually a picture is worth 1,000 words, right? Just by looking at the picture, we learn something new. We learn where they live. We learn what they eat, what an animal eats, or we learn more about that particular topic just by looking at the photographs. All right, so let's get started. My favorite nonfiction text feature, which is the table of contents. The table of contents really, friends, it's sort of even just like the backbone of our book of nonfiction, right? So we're gonna go back to that table of contents to see where we want to zoom in on the pictures. And as you see, I'm gonna go back to page 4, from 4 to 7. Actually, just page 4 today. And we're going to zoom in on that particular picture. But remember, friends, that table of contents, friends, really tells us where to navigate throughout our nonfiction book. And today, since we're going to take a closer look at our pictures, I'm going to go back to a picture that we've studied already so we can really take a closer look at that photograph. All right, here it is. This is honestly one of my favorite photographs in the entire nonfiction book, friends, because it really tells us a lot. It's so rich with a lot of nonfiction tech features, and this photograph tells us so much about the actual shark itself. Right now, here we have the entire body of the shark, right? But what I love about this particular picture is that the author gave us a zoomed in version of the shark's skin, right? And remember, a photograph tells us a lot of different things. Now, if we look at the zoomed in version, you can actually see that the skin it's very grainy and is very bumpy, right? And if you read the caption, it says shark skin feels bumpy and rough. It's hard like sandpaper, right? That close up version, when you include that in a photograph, friends, it really tells us and it gives us an accurate picture of what this shark looks like close up. It's very difficult for an average person to get very close to a shark because it's very dangerous. But when an author includes that in the photograph, it tells us so much, right? And it really shows us, look at the fins, look at the teeth, right? Look at its fin at the back, the tail, friends, right? It really is, it tells us so much. Now, I want you to really look at it not only as a reader, but I want you to look at this as a writer, right? Because I want you to pull from this type of picture and think, gee, what can I use here that I can add to my own writing? And we're going to talk a little bit about that later on today. But here, like I said, I learned that just by looking at the photograph that the shark has so many fins. Look at the fins in the bottom. I didn't even realize that the the shark has, or the hammerhead shark has fins, so many fins at the bottom, right? And look at this grainy skin that the author added, that zoomed in version, which I'm gonna put it in my toolbox because I'd love to incorporate that in my picture for writing. Here has a very big, large fin, and we can also reread that caption. Shark tail fins are larger on the top because it helps them move better. All right, friends. Well, that is all for today as far as looking at the photo and really stopping and studying, getting as much information as you can so that you can use that in your toolbox for when it's time to draw a picture. Okay, so now it's your turn. I want you to look at the same book that you have been looking and reading and exploring from your book baggie. And I want you to choose one picture and one photograph in your book. Okay. I want you to look at the captions that this photograph has. I want you to look at what this photograph tells you. What can you learn more from this photograph? And make sure to keep some stuff in your toolbox because maybe you can use that same type of photograph or same type of idea so you can incorporate that in your all about book. All right. Now remember, pause this video, come back in 5 minutes so that we can get ready for some writing. Okay. Don't forget, stop and study and look and take a closer look at those photographs. All right. I'll see you in a few minutes. Bye. Friends, welcome back. We are beginning some writing. Our writing teaching point today is I can sketch and label a picture in my nonfiction book. All right, so friends, it is very similar to it. Our reading supports our writing in everything that we do. Anything that we read, we can always try and keep in our toolbox so that it can support our writing. So, since our reading was about looking and taking a closer look at the photographs for writing, we're going to take all that stuff that we absorbed and that we learned. We're going to put it and incorporate it in our all about books as well. So again, we're going to sketch and we're going to label a picture in our nonfiction book. Now, friends, just like I said, we're going to sketch and label an important picture. Now, I am going to, as you see, I'm zooming in. Okay, that's the biggest. Um, I'm zooming in, right? Because you're going to take a closer look and see how I go back in my writing and I'm going to incorporate pictures and labels in my own writing. Now, remember, I told you I'm going to keep some stuff in my toolbox. So I may take some ideas from the author, right, Anne Schreiber, so I can incorporate it in my book, friends. That's how I want you to look at things. I want you to look at reading with the lens of a writer because you can go ahead and use that in your books as well. All right. Well, I am going to pull out my journal. Your journal looks a little different from mine, but it's the idea. I'm going to go back, friends, to the very first page because um, if you notice, I have only the past couple of lessons, I've only just written our facts, right? But I never really incorporated a picture. And now this is the time that I'm going to go back in my writing. I'm going to go back to that very first day and I'm going to begin drawing and sketching some pictures, okay? Because they're missing, right? And this one is missing. And I see that this one is missing. So I'm going to draw 3 pictures for you today. All right. Now, let me go ahead and change my camera view so that you can take a closer look. All right. There it goes. Now, remember, friends, my picture is going to match my words. Okay. It's not going to I'm not going to draw a different picture. I'm going to match the words that I wrote. Okay. So here it says, sharks do not have bones. So I'm going to draw a picture of a shark, but I'm going to see if I draw a picture of the shark that's sort of like bending, right? So that it shows you that it doesn't have any bones. So I'm going to go ahead and draw the top of my shark. And this is the fin. And I'm going to make the shark kind of curling, right? So it shows you how it bends, right? I'm going to see if I go like that. And then this is the bottom of the shark. And then I remembered that the shark had fins at the bottom. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to make the big fin at the bottom. There it is. This one helps them swim. The bottom has it's like white, right? So I'm gonna incorporate that. They have the nice eyes. They have gills, right? So they can breathe. And I'm going to put an arrow and I'm going to write um, label shark. And I'm going to put another arrow because I remember that the shark is has cartilage instead of bones. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and incorporate that on here. So it says, so I'm gonna write they have cartilage. Cartilage. Beautiful. There it is. Oops. You know what? The beginning of my sentence should have a capital letter, friends. So I'm going to go ahead and erase that lowercase letter. You know, good writers go back and reread, right? There it is. All right. They have cartilage and it's a shark, and this is my shark. I'm going to move on to my next picture. Beautiful. So here, this picture says baby sharks are called pups. So this picture is going to have a whole bunch of baby sharks. Now, watch me. I'm going to draw small sharks here all around and call them and label them pups. So here we have um, a little shark there, another shark here. And I'm just drawing small little sharks, right? Because these are pups, okay? And it kind of, there it is. My pictures aren't that great, but you get the idea. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a label, right? Because I sketched and then I labeled. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add 3 arrows. 1, 2, 3. And I'm gonna write pups. Pups. Baby sharks. Beautiful. All right, I'm going to underline pups. There it is. So that when a reader reads my book, they know what this picture is. Oh, and I'm going to go ahead and add like a nice setting, right? These are the plants under the ocean, right? That's very important to add detail to our pictures. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and draw my last picture. Okay. Now remember, my picture has to match my words. So I'm going to reread this one. It says, sharks can smell blood from miles away. So what I am going to add and incorporate is I'm going to incorporate maybe a very big version of the shark here, right? A close up, right? A close up of a shark. So this is a shark's head, right? I'm going to go ahead and put those teeth in. They have a lot of sharp teeth, right? And I'm going to go ahead and put the big eyes, right? His big eyes. Those are very big eyes. So fin up here. And I'm going to go ahead and draw its nose. The nose is kind of very similar. It looks like a little backward 6. And then I'm going to add some pretend blood right here. And I'm going to label it. That's why labeling is so important, friends, because um, the reader then knows what they are looking at, right? That's blood. And then this is a shark. And then I'm going to just put nose because that is where the shark is going to um, smell. Now, I'm just adding detail to my shark. A shark's bottom is usually lighter than the top. Okay, so there it is. Sharks can smell blood from miles away. And here's my blood. This is the shark, and this is the nose. All right, friends. Okay, friends, that is basically it for today. You're going to sketch and label uh, pictures. So remember, you're going to go back to your first, right? Whoops, there it is, my camera view, right? That was the first page that I drew. Whoops. This is the second sketch and I labeled. And then this is my third picture that I sketched and labeled. Okay? Now it's your turn. Okay? You're going to do exactly what I did, friends. You're going to pull out your writing journal. You're going to go back to the very first writing paper that we did, and you're going to draw the first three pictures, just like me. You're going to draw a picture that matches the words that you wrote. Make sure that you include labels. Okay? Remember, this is very important. Like this picture right here, it's very important because if you don't include labels, friends, they're not going to know, the reader's not going to know what you drew. So, incorporating labels is very important. So, remember, the objective is sketch and label. All right? Thank you so much for joining me today, friends. It's always a pleasure as always. Um Come back tomorrow. Until then, enjoy the rest of your day. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.